Hey guys, how's it going? It is me, Connor, or Vertex from Xpanse Gaming, and today I have a educational gameplay for you guys here. We being the Radiant Shadows, my clan, we're playing some Elimination 3v3, just kind of, I wouldn't really say goofing around, but we weren't like trying too hard. We tried to split up the teams so that we would all have fun and just kind of play, just to hang out and talk and stuff. So you're not going to hear the gameplay if you hear me talking in this. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the audio yet. But if you hear me talking, you're not going to hear me get like super focused or anything like you would maybe hear during a trials match where it's three of my buddies or two of my buddies and me against like people we don't know, and we're trying to go flawless in trials. Like, it's not the end of the world if we lose these games. We're just trying to have fun and maybe improve along the way. So the next thing that I want to do is apologize to you guys because I am sick. I'm super stuffed up, so I probably don't sound like myself, or if I do sound similar to myself, I don't sound completely like myself. Nothing I can really do about that, but I would much rather put out a video for you guys and just be a little bit sick than not to do anything, especially since I thought about this this morning and thought that it would be a really good video to make. And so yeah, that's why you're getting a video right now. That's pretty much how I do things, is if I think of a good video, I make it. But if I don't really know what I should make out of a video, what I should do with the gameplay, it usually kind of just sits on my computer until I get some inspiration. But yeah, so what we're going to talk about today is not necessarily specific for Elimination, but it is very important in Elimination. These game modes that are kind of stop and start, you know, similar to Search and Destroy in Call of Duty. A lot of the game mode is reliant on people's momentum, where if they're comfortable or not, how they interact with their team. There's a lot of intangible stuff that goes into winning an elimination game. There's a lot more coordination than definitely sixes, and even a game of skirmish, unless you're maybe playing sweats where you're in even more competition than trials. But for the majority of players out there, they're going to be worrying about improving their gameplay so they can do well in Trials of Osiris. So the first thing that I would recommend is obviously to play this game mode. There is no other way to get better at the game mode than to play it over and over again. And that's true of any game mode. I used to hate skirmish. I used to think skirmish was the worst thing in the world. And then I started playing it over and over again, and all of a sudden I started to get better. Same with Rumble. I used to think Rumble was impossible to win. Well, I have a bunch of gameplay from last night of me winning 4 out of 5 Rumble games straight. And yeah, they probably weren't necessarily the hardest games, and the players may not have been the best or whatever, but I was still able to win Rumble games, and that just comes from practice, from doing it, and from telling yourself you're going to win. But I'm not really going to talk anymore about that kind of stuff. What I want to talk to you guys about is something that you should already have seen going on in this gameplay, which is finding your comfort zone in these maps. Now, obviously, if it's not a good strategy for you to run, for your team to run, you kind of have to give and take a little bit. But in my opinion, the best way, or the way for you to perform best in the Trials of Osiris or Elimination, is to be comfortable with your map control, with your area on the map. So the first 2 rounds, I run to the right of this map and go to B flag, and I'm sitting there in rubble, I think is what they call it in like the official call out, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to snipe, and yeah, I may get a kill, but I'm not really comfortable there. Like, you can just kind of tell I'm kind of fidgety. I'm not happy with where I'm at. I'm kind of just trying to back up my teammate, but he doesn't really seem like he's necessarily comfortable either. And so it was just not a good place to go on the map. And so I decided to switch it up after they went 2-0 up on us. And so me and Levi did not go towards right side, towards B anymore. Instead, I decided to contest these guys in the sniper lane, which traditionally is not something that I like to do, go to main sniper lanes and try and outsnipe my opponents. No, usually what I like to try and do is maybe find some sort of angle, at least for that first pick, because that first pick is so important in trials. And here Trey, RHC, gets that first pick on the guy that I honestly thought I'd hit, but obviously didn't. And so that then opens up the entire bottom portion of this map for us, and it kind of puts them at a severe disadvantage because we have the area of the map that we like. You can tell just by the way we're playing it, and they're kind of backpedaling during this entire round after we take down their first member, and it's really unimportant which member you take down. That first pick is very important. And just because the numbers advantage alone is enough to let you win trials rounds. But yeah, so we go up, and so now all of a sudden we've changed strategies. We go up 2-2. Now, could these guys have switched up their strategy? Should they after we went up 2-2? Yes, they probably should have. But once we found this, we kind of ran it the same way over and over and over again. You can see us kind of doing similar things. I'm running a similar place. I'm able to catch callouts there, and like see kind of what's going on off of their spawn, and then I am of course able to get that first pick, which is so important. And so the other thing that I want you to pay attention to while you're watching this gameplay is the fact that I'm not running the exact same route every single time. I know it may seem like it just because there's only about 2 areas for me to run through there, but I'm not focusing on the same, oh, let me go here, then here, then here. Yes, I have a general roadmap of where I like to be and where I want to go, but I can alternate, and I can go to new locations, and as long as I'm in that area of the map, I feel a lot more comfortable. And so what I'm trying to I guess overall tell you guys that you should do is sit down with your trials team, maybe before you launch that ticket, and just say, okay, here's the map. So let's say it's this map, and so let's say you say, hey, I'm really uncomfortable going to B flag, and so I want to give them that right side, and so you can say, okay, well let's go to C flag then, which is that area that I just run through every single time there. C flag, all right, that's cool. Now what do we want to do? Do we want to try and push through all the way into the middle area into this fight? Yeah, we could do that, but if they try and challenge us there, what do? Well, what if we had one person sit in the back of our spawn and watch B to keep them off? What if we had one person sit in B broken looking across to see if anybody happens to slip by that one watcher? And then let's have one guy sitting at the little window of C, making sure nobody comes in on our forward. And then as the opponents react, we react to them, and we'll just see where we're going from there. And so then, with everybody on the same page, hopefully everybody's comfortable with that strategy, and you can go from there, because it is so much more beneficial to do that ahead of time than to try and figure it out when you've already lost 2 rounds. And you don't really have you don't really have, I guess, the sometimes the mental patience to sit there and try and, okay, let's talk this out. You're kind of maybe pissed that you've gone down 2-0 or something of that nature. And so yeah, I would just recommend that you guys ultimately, maybe if you're comfortable in intense sniper lanes, maybe not challenge intense sniper lanes. Like, I'm challenging some pretty risky areas here, which sometimes gets me killed. It's a flaw. I'm not gonna phrase that any other way. A lot of times against good snipers, I go down because I'm a little bit over aggressive, but that's usually the role that I try and play, is getting that first pick. And then whatever happens from there kind of happens. But yeah. So you anyways.
All right, down on the res.
I know I kind of rambled on about this, made a bunch of nonsensical comments, but the moral of this story is to put yourself in a position to succeed. Now, whether that be And that's not always the same for everybody, whether that be figuring out what role you should play on your team, or maybe that means just certain areas of the map. You just say, I'm sorry, I can't really fight here. I mean, I can try, but I'm really uncomfortable with this area of the map, and we're just gonna have to work around that. And so, anyways, I finished with a 10 kill streak in this game. Big turnaround from what had happened the first time, and yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time around.
Yeah, dude. Pendragon, to be honest with you, had you jumped up on that one that was on the side, you were dead, because I was sitting there watching it with a scope. Like, yeah, you actually did better without